So this year has been kind of weird for summer gaming news. With the complete absence of E3 this year, it was obvious it was going to be a very different year for gaming news, and announcement. But thankfully, the gaming gods graced us with their presence and still fed us the hype, hope, and happiness we were all looking for. We had Summer Games Fest where they announced The Last of Us remake. Microsoft had their Xbox and Bethesda showcase where they showed off more of Starfield, announced a new Forza Motorsports, and even announced a new partner project with Hideo Kojima himself. Hell, even PlayStation had their own smaller state of play that had some pretty big and exciting announcements. Marvel Spider-Man is coming to PC. We've got some sick-looking Final Fantasy 16 gameplay. Street Fighter 6 finally showed off its amazing and artsy-looking gameplay as well. We got some news of Resident Evil Village coming to PSVR 2, along with some story DLC that takes place after the conclusion of Village's story. And speaking of Resident Evil, we definitely can't leave out the Resident Evil 4 remake being announced, so what about Nintendo? Well, certainly after all these events, we were bound to hear something from them, and whether or not they had a not E3 Direct. So we waited, and we waited. Day after day went by, and we heard nothing from them. Leaks and rumors were everywhere about a Direct being on this day. No, it's on this day. It's probably gonna be on this day. There was no hope in sight. Maybe we just weren't gonna hear from Nintendo this year. I mean, to their credit, we have had already big titles released from them this year. Pokemon Legends Arceus was in January. The entire Kingdom Hearts collection in February. And yes, I know, they're cloud versions. And yes, they suck. We saw Triangle Strategy and Kirby and the Forgotten Land in March. April had the spiritual successor to Wii Sports with the release of Nintendo Switch Sport. May was thankfully quiet because let's be honest, my wallet needed a break for sure. But hell, even this month, June 2022, Nintendo slaps us in the face with a long-awaited Mario Strikers game. And just last week said, here you guys go. Not only another Fire Emblem Warriors game, but it's an alternate timeline to the story of Fire Emblem Three Houses. And that's not all. We have Live Alive and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 right around the corner in July. Splatoon 3 is in September. And then the recently announced Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in November. And we still have games announced by Nintendo that we're still waiting for release dates for, like Breath of the Wild 2, Advance Wars. Anyway, the point to my long drawn out rant is, did Nintendo just have their year planned out and decided there was really nothing to announce for us? And then it happened. We got confirmation of a Direct. Only, I don't think it was what we were all expecting. A Nintendo Direct Mini? Specifically a partner showcase, aka third-party developed announcements, aka no Nintendo first-party game. And while that may have been slightly disappointing, I'm always still willing to give a Direct a chance, because you never know what they're gonna show off in it. So how did this one go? Well, it wasn't too bad, actually. Now, I'm not gonna go over everything that was in the Direct, because let's be honest, I'm terrible at editing. I have a 10-month-old sleeping in the other room at the moment, and realistically, I'd like to get some sleep tonight. So here are my top 5 things that got me hyped during the Direct. So at number 5, I'm gonna list Live Alive. It's so low on this list, because like I said earlier, it'll be here in a matter of weeks. Live Alive is an HD 2D remake of the Super Famicom title of the same name, released in 1994 and developed by Square Enix. Live Alive is a turn-based role-playing video game in which, as the player, you take on the role of 8 different protagonists, much like an Octopath Traveler, through 9 different scenarios. While each narrative has the same basic mechanic, the individual stories have unique gimmicks, such as the use of stealth, the lack of standard battle, or using telepathy to learn new facts to progress the narrative. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. You can tell the developers really put in a lot of work here to make the game look and feel authentic to its original design. After watching all the trailers and all the gameplay, it just honestly looks so damn good. On a side note, I am kind of a sucker for HD 2D games like Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy, but the concept and the story alone intrigues me, and we have never had a Western release date before. So I'm glad to see it finally making its way here to the States on July 22nd, 2022. Oh, and hey, in Square Enix fashion, they even announced a demo that's available now covering the first 3 chapters of the game with progress that actually carries over into the retail version. So that's always cool. Coming in at number 4 is another game developed by Square Enix, Harvestella. Harvestella? I'm gonna go with Harvestella. I gotta say, when I first saw this game, I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at. Was it Final Fantasy? Was it Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley? Then I came to the conclusion, both. Both is good. Harvestella is a life simulation RPG, much like Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon. You can spend your days farming, raising livestock, relaxing while you fish, head into the town and chat with a local. You can even go venturing into a dungeon, much like Stardew Valley, and slay monsters. The catch in Harvestella, though, is unlike in Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, the seasons change every 30 days. But it's not quite how you think. There's a 5th season that falls in between each season. Quietus. During Quietus, all crops wither and die, and due to a deadly dust blowing around outside, everyone is prevented from venturing outside their home. An interesting mechanic that will definitely make fans of the farming/life simulators have to rethink and plan for the inevitable. With a visual style that reminds me a lot of the Bravely Default series, an action-based combat system of the more recent Final Fantasy games, and a farming aspect which looks to take deep inspiration from the best of the series. This will definitely be a day 1 purchase for me when it releases on November 4th of this year. At number 3 is the Mega Man Battle Network legacy. This collection will include the 10 games in the Mega Man Battle Network series that were originally launched on the Game Boy Advance in the early 2000s until about the mid 2000s, alongside with additional extras such as an image gallery of over 1,000 images and a music mode including over 150 songs from the series. While the physical release has been confirmed, they will also be released digitally in a 2-part collection, much in the same way as the original Blue Bomber Mega Man Legacy collections and the Mega Man X collections, where they were split up into 2 parts. Battling it out on a 6x3 grid seems interesting and unique. Having personally never played any of these games, mainly due to how different they were from the OG Mega Man and the Mega Man X games, I'm looking forward to giving these games a shot in the modern day. For number 2, they may say, "You'll never see it coming," but I think it was safe to say we definitely saw this coming. The Persona series. Well, 3/5 of it anyways. After being revealed in the Xbox and Bethesda 2022 showcase, and then hearing that this collection was coming not only to Steam, but to the Sony platforms as well. I mean, come on. It was just a matter of time before we saw the Phantom Thieves, the Investigation Team, and the SEES make their way into the Nintendo Switch. While I have no doubts that Persona 3 Portable, a PSP game, and Persona 4 Golden, a PS Vita game, will run fine on the Switch, I'm very curious to see how much quality, style, and or flashiness Persona 5 Royal will lose on the Switch. In many ways, those 3 characteristics define the Persona series itself. Trust me, I hope there is none. Honestly, I do. But we all know the Switch isn't a powerhouse by any means. My main hope for P5 Royal is that it runs and plays well. While I can say I'm definitely excited to have a chance to revisit P5 Royal and maybe finally complete it, I'm also excited to head back to Inaba and relive the moments of one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. But I have to ask Atlas this one question. Atlas, why not P3 FES? And lastly, at number 1, it's NieR Automata, the end of the Yorha edition. Listen, if you know me, you know I love games developed by Platinum Games. They make my favorite game of all time after all. So when the original NieR Automata game released back in February of 2017, nobody thought I was still alive. My wife would come in the room, check my pulse, and make sure I was still breathing. And I wasn't even playing the game. And no, I wasn't just staring at 2B's impossibly perfect butt. I was ensnared by the music alone. Every track is simply a masterpiece. Even if you've never played a game in the NieR series, I'm telling you, just go to YouTube, type in NieR music, click on the first video, and just listen. It's like nothing you've heard before. Every track is so emotional. You can feel it in the fiber of your own being. And I haven't even gotten to when I actually played the game. The combat is lightning fast and fluid. The animations are amazing. The environments are gorgeous. And the story, my God, the story makes you think about life itself in a way no other form of media has ever done before, or at least I think. It's a genuine masterpiece. You see this guy right here? This guy, his name is Yoko Taro. Yes, he wears that head on him all the time, and he's the director of this game. This game alone made him a household name among RPG fans. It's that good. You know what? Just go play the game right now if you can. If you can't, then definitely make sure that you pick this up on October 6th this year. And with that, bread slices, those are my thoughts, opinions, and excitements around this Nintendo Direct. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like or comment down below. Let me know what you enjoyed the most about this Direct, or what you're excited for this year, or what you didn't like. Also, consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this in the future. I'm just getting started, but hoping to find more time to make content like this and just have fun with it. So until the next time, you guys, I'm gonna go play some Monster Hunter Rise. Okay, bye.